All right. There we go. I might have to edit a little bit off of there. They can't hear me because our theme song is not done yet, so I'm going to let that play. I'm going to mute myself.
An expendable.
Expendable. Hey, Joe, you telling me I'm expendable? What?
No, I was about to remember you the story that I told you about. I telling that I was expendable to an interviewer. Now I was trying to use the word in a right context.
The right context. Well, Joe, the right context is here. And I got one of my Army battle buddies like ringing me up. And I know it's coming through in my headphone. I don't know if these notifications come through when you listen to them back on the podcast. But anyway, it's been a week. I can't believe how time flies, man. It's been going way too quick for me.
Definitely. It goes very, very, very quick. Let me just do a quick check sound on the stream.
Yeah, do that for sure. Because sometimes my audio, my button clicking, I get to button mashing, and make sure you check yourself too. I'll be quiet and we can do a quick Joe test.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Sorry if I wasn't paying attention to you for a few seconds. I was just waiting until I could hear both of us. But sound check.
I tell you what, well, the thing is like my wife, she's been gone for a couple of days and she's just getting back today. So there's a good chance that my being all frazzled would have caused me to mess up. I didn't hear audio coming through, honestly. I think when the video, I'm going to go back and look at it, but I think there was no audio at the beginning of the stream. I had to switch a scene, reset something, and then come back and it was working. So it's good to check. Yeah. Always good to check. I think for our first 5 episodes, I was 5 for 5 on messing something up, the audio or the video.
Well, we are getting fine tuned.
Yes, sir.
We have a configuration that works to our expectations. I would say.
Yeah,
it's going to improve sooner, very very soon. I would say. Because I bought my new computer. So new gears are coming.
Okay.
I am so anxious, man. My wife was telling me that it's been a while since I was so anxious to get something because I'm not this kind of guy that materialistic. I don't care much about stuff.
Yeah,
but this computer is due for a long time because I'm using a very very simple laptop.
Yeah,
but the podcast is demanding something better, and also I have some side gigs that I'm working on that I want to do better, and I just need a better computer. So yeah, I was waiting for a long time, and now I bought it, and I am tracking. No, it's so funny, right? Because I bought last Friday during Black Friday, and then when they shipped, I am tracking every hour almost, and checking if there's updates. Man, the computer left China on Monday. And today it just arrived like in a neighbor city here, so it's probably going to be here tomorrow. I couldn't believe, man, how fast these things come from China.
Okay, see, I thought you were gonna say it was like it was gonna be like twice as long as that you expected, but that does seem. Well, I mean, when was Black Friday? Like last Friday, literally, I think, right?
Yeah,
or
last
no?
Friday, yeah.
Yeah. So the fact that it's already like close, I think that's a pretty good sign, right? So I mean,
yeah, no, it's expected to be delivered tomorrow. And when I got the expected date initially, I couldn't believe, because I saw, no, is it still in China? How come like in 4 or 5 days arrive here at my doorstep?
Yeah.
I don't believe that, but now I start to believe. I believe it's going to be here tomorrow indeed. And I can't wait, man, to get my hands on, to install everything that I want, and to see how it's going to perform on our podcast.
Man, I think that I'm excited not only for season 2, but also for the new tech upgrades, because if you're going to upgrade it, then I want to add some flavor to our live show too. So I'll probably add in, the followers or whatever we got, whatever kind of stuff we want to do. I'm not gonna be too over the top, but I want to make sure that I add some flavor to our tech. But I think it'll be good to have not only some extra tech for the podcast, but like you said, I'm also a firm believer of buying it when it helps your workflow, right? And I believe that like there's a very thin line between, making the equipment you have do, if that's what needs to be done, and then another one by like just extending the life of a laptop or a computer that it should have been upgraded, because the sanity. And I know personally, right? Because I've probably built 9 or 10 computers. Like I enjoy building PCs. Okay, that's kind of a lie. Building a computer like a desktop is actually torture. Like managing the cables and trying to organizing it, and then putting everything together for 3 or 4 hours, and then you go to turn it on and nothing works. It doesn't even power up, and you're like, what the hell? And when a piece breaks and you try to figure out what actually broke, like that's nightmare. It's like torturing yourself. But as someone who's like tried to maximize the use of computers by not like just buying a new one, by replacing them, that's what they say, right? You can buy it and build it yourself. You can just replace the parts instead of just buying new ones. I don't know, man. It's like such a pain in the ass to do that. But I do know this. It's much more of a pain in the ass to like try to work on a slow ass computer, laptop.
Definitely.
Dude. Like,
definitely.
You ever had a freeze on you? Do you have any old war stories where you were building something? And I got one for you, but I want to hear if you have any crazy stories where you're working on something on a piss ass machine and it cost you.
Actually, what I was about to say was my initial experience with computers. I actually did a training on hardware. So I knew pretty well. Of course, this was like 15, 20 years ago, but I knew pretty well how to mount and unmount a computer from every screw, the motherboard, every board.
Yeah.
So
wow,
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
At some point, I was actually teaching that in the same school that I got trained. So they invited me to be kind of instructor there. It was awesome. So even the jacks, you go to the boards and then you have to, is it jack that you say in English? So you have to put the switches, actually, not jacks. The switches,
the connectors,
yeah. So it was pretty awesome. I don't remember anything about that anymore, right? I've never opened. I haven't opened a computer for the last 10 or 15 years. But yeah, that was awesome. I used to enjoy that quite a lot.
Yeah, no, I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd. Yeah. I love that stuff.
Yeah, but then after I left that training company, I actually I've never done that anymore. I got into software development. So probably that was the beginning of my software development career, right? Because when I got into development, I had some expertise already. I've never thought about that, but maybe there's a relationship between my early days in hardware.
Yeah, I did it ass backwards, right? I didn't go to school for computer science, and I didn't start building computers until after I learned like to code. And to be honest, what got me into building computers was a VR, like virtual reality with the headsets. Like Facebook had just came out with the Oculus Rift, like the first one, or Oculus did, I think, before Facebook bought them, or however that worked. But either way, I went to a VR conference because I was considering setting up a VR business, and I just went to a conference, and I'd bought like a little computer before that, just for like work. But after I went to the VR conference, I was like, dude, that was fun. But I knew there's no way that my little piece of crap desktop was going to do any VR, right? These people had like actual gaming rigs. I didn't know the first thing about building like a gaming PC. And so I was like, I'm going to do it. And so after like coding a little bit and not being in the field and then getting interested in gaming, and then I started building PCs. And then I think that just the interest in building the PCs kept me into gaming. I don't do VR anymore. I don't know what happened with the industry. It was really fun. I really enjoyed it. But as a hardcore gamer, like there's not a lot of games that came out, right? I'm not the kind of guy that can just sit and play the same. Well, I'm kind of lying here because I play Call of Duty every year. It feels like the same game. It's a new game release, but I can't play the same game that, just over and over and over. So VR kind of died out, but I still enjoy it, right? I got top of the line, like a PC. I got a 4090 MSI Supreme, like graphics cards, like a GPU. I got like a iQOO AIO, like a water cooler that has like a little LCD screen. It's got my kid making a weird, funky pose in front of my dog on it right now. But I like computers. I can't wait. I'm excited for you to get yours.
Dude, talking about games, I have a PS5, but I'm not a player like you. I actually, I avoid playing games. I feel it's waste of time.
Yeah, absolutely a waste of time.
Yeah, but I was just browsing on the PlayStation Store, and I found a couple of games like PS4 games, and I installed them. One of them got me hooked.
What was it?
Mad Max.
Mad Max. Oh, nice.
Man. It's so awesome, and I'm playing so much that my wife was saying, "No, you have to stop playing. You're not spending time with us anymore."
Yeah. No, I get that too. I'm a hardcore gamer, man. Right? I know, like you said, it's a waste of time, and I agree. But I still do it. Like I can't not do it. It has ties to my military days and like how the military guys used to just unwind. We used to, like, when you're deployed and you're in the middle of Iraq and you ain't got nothing to do when you get off of work, right? It's very easy just to be stressed and worried about the dangers or what's happening back home when you're not there and you can't do anything. So a lot of the times what we do is we'd either play cards or something, or we'd play like gaming if you had like a console. And being that I was in the Signal Corps, which is like the military's IT, like we would have all the Cat 5 we'd have all the cable, the networking cable, and the equipment to build a network, and we would just have LANs. So you think being able to play, Mad Max with everybody, all your buddies, but when you're deployed and you're in Iraq, it's like 15 or 12 months of that. It's like this. That's what do you do on Friday night when you get off of work? Well, there's nothing to do, so everybody just games, right? It's not like there's a grocery store so you can go barbecue and get meat. Like you're just sitting there and you just have 24 hours, 48 hours to just twiddle your thumbs. So most people would just game, right? And I think we got addicted. Maybe we should file a lawsuit. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get that, because you are there, you don't have anywhere to go, right?
Yeah.
You don't have much to do. There's no fun activity.
There's no entertainment. There's no TV. Yeah. It's not like you're watching television, right? There's no Netflix.
Exactly. What about internet? Is there internet that you can access?
So it's so funny you would ask. We would have internet access, but again, because we were the IT. So we were the signal core, and essentially like the equipment that we would have, depending on what part of the signal core team or what unit you're with. But we had things called like tri-band, which are like satellites, and like TACSATs or tactical satellites, and they would be like, it's like a Humvee, like you see like an Army Humvee, but on the back, instead of a little canvas or the turtle shell, it's a satellite. And it folds down, and then you just, anywhere you go, you can just park it and pop up the bag, and you got like satellite, and you can get internet. But the thing was, here's a funny ass story. So, the thing is like we're signal, so generally like we're just like the pipe, right? We're like the network. We're like AT&T. So we get the connection, we establish the connection, we secure the connection because it's military, right? So you got to use ComSec or security, and you got to encrypt it, and then we distribute that communications, both the internet and the telephone. But I mean, this is military equipment, right? It's not like we got like a terabyte connection or a gig connection, even that's like, megabytes. And so, but we would provide it to people. It's also not like the network that you're supposed to be like gaming on, right? And so the weird thing is so for instance, when I was deployed, I was in Fallujah. We were supporting the 1st Marine Division, and we were the connection, the hub. But like once you give the Marines the internet, right? They have like their own network, right? They'll establish like an organization. They'll establish their network, and then they'll grant access to people and to the network. And we wanted to play Ghost Recon, in the original Call of Duty as well, but they're on laptop, right? It's just like a little like tactical shooter. SOCOM might have been. No, it was Ghost Recon, I think. But anyway, we wanted to play over the LAN because it's the easiest way over the network. It was the easiest way to play a good game. But they found out that we were playing over the internet, and they blocked our computers. They literally blocked our computers from playing Call of Duty over the network while we're deployed. And that's when I found out that there is a special thing called the MAC addresses. And they had been blocking our MAC address, but we had a smart guy in our team, and he realized that you could give a virtual address for your physical MAC address, and you could basically just rename it. And so they were just MAC address blocking us, and every morning we would get on and we would just change our MAC address, and we'd play for the rest of the day. But they're like, why is our network so slow? So yeah, so that's a little bit about background about me and when the network and like doing it in the military. So yeah, that's like you would get in trouble. We were in a small unit, but most of the time it's just LAN. You're not playing on. If you have internet, it's supposed to be used for official business. Right?
Yeah. I remember I was reminding my old days of college when you were talking, because we would go to the labs and create our own networks and then play Call of Duty or
Counter-Strike.
Counter-Strike, actually. Because it was not on the internet, it was just between us, right?
Yep.
Just people in the room. We would create the network, the LAN, and then play. It was so funny because the teacher would come and we were so quick. You probably know this very well, but you change your screens before the teacher sees, right?
Yeah.
So if you were sitting in the back, you were in advantage, because then as the teacher would walk in the classroom, towards the end of the room, people would start shifting the screens, and then you were the last one. You would queue everybody.
Like you tee everybody up. That's so funny. It's funny how you queue onto those things. It reminds me that when we were playing those LAN parties of COD on the Marine network, but there were like 3 or 4 of us. We were playing in the little common area where our shelters were. But I remember that after like a week or two of playing, that we would notice like people, what they would do is like one of the guys, he would fire and he would listen to see if he would hear it on your laptop, right? To see if the rounds were coming in close, and they're basically like, oh, I heard it. So he'd know you were over there, and then he would kind of sneak around to try to find you. So then we got to where we were like, putting in headphones so nobody would listen, because like you're saying, you would hear these cues. And then we noticed at night that we would always like to play sniper, I guess, because there's so few people that everybody liked to play sniper. But what would happen is the screens are really bright, right? But as soon as someone goes to like ADS or put their scope up for their sniper rifle, their screens get really dark. So as soon as you'd see anybody like start to get really dark, you'd start dancing with your character because you knew that maybe they were sniping in on you, or they might have had a beat. So you're like waiting, like, oh, he's getting dark. You gotta. It's funny how human nature, you pick up these little cues, right? Where the other people what they're doing, and they inform what you do.
Back in Brazil in the 2000s, actually in the 90s, it was there was a thing we used called LAN houses, and usually in the 90s they would have Nintendos and PlayStations, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2. You would pay for pay to play. By the hour.
Okay.
I don't remember how much, but yeah, I was a kid in the 90s, so I would get all of my money and go to these LAN houses and play video games because I didn't have one.
Yep.
But then in the 2000s, I believe the computers start to arrive, and then these LAN houses start to have computer games, and then the online gaming, so or not cool. Online at that time was still, they would create a network
like just a LAN,
in that room, just a LAN house. That's why LAN house.
Yeah.
And people would do overnight.
Oh, dude, I love that.
I've
never. You never did an overnighter? Oh, bro. So that culture is so big.
Not outside. Not outside. I would play overnight at home.
Oh yeah, no.
Went outside.
So America, especially like if you're a '90s kid like I was, like they had these things. I don't think they do them anymore, but they had these things where they would host what they call was lock-ins or lockouts. I can't remember whether they called lock-ins or lock. I think they called them both actually. But what it was, they're like events like that where like teenagers would go somewhere like school or this area, and they would have like these LAN parts, and they would set them up. But it was like for a 24-hour period. And so like you come in during the day, and they had like, it's like a potluck. So everybody's parents would bring different meals or pizza. Everybody was responsible for stuff. And then overnight, like that's just what it was. Like some of the girls would come and they would do like movies. They would do like projector and stuff. But the guys, like they would all be just in other classrooms, and they would just be gaming all night, just pizza, gaming, playing Tony Hawk, and we used to do that. But I used to go to those. But it's the same way, right? Because I didn't have like a gaming station, I think, till I was in high school. My family finally got like a PlayStation. But before then, we kind of do those things. And I mean, that's like American culture though, right? When games release, like I remember as a kid too, like if you, depending on if you were fortunate enough to get the game, like you would be waiting for the midnight release, or you'd be lined up outside a GameStop waiting for the game to come out at midnight, and you get your copy and go play. It's so funny. It used to be so big, the culture.
Yeah. I remember when I one of the consoles that I used to have was a Nintendo.
Yep.
And probably the game that I played the most was Super Mario.
Dude,
yeah, there was so many different versions.
I love that. Super Mario.
Wow, man, that game I played so much. And I remember when I finished the first time, because at the time we didn't have memory cards, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like today that you go online and everything's saved.
Yeah.
You can go offline, you can turn off, you can reboot it while you are playing. You
play somebody else's console and log in. Yeah.
At the time, you play until you're done. When you turn off, it's gone.
Start again from zero.
Yeah, start from zero again. So my friend and I, we were playing overnight, and we just played, I don't know, a lot of hours. And we were so tired, and we were close to finish the game. And this was like Saturday night.
Yeah.
And then we went to bed. My friend was sleeping at my place. In the morning, because my father was so cheap, right?
Yeah.
In the morning, my father woke up earlier than us, he saw the TV on. He just turned it off. So when we got up, we saw the TV off, and oh my god, I don't believe it.
No.
It was like 20 hours of gaming.
Dude, I remember the games too back in the day too. They used to be ruthless. Like not only was there no saving, but it wasn't like these like infinite life type games. Like you had a limited number of lives. And like literally even if you were like 80% done with the game, like if you ran out of lives, it was like start over. Like out of like start back at the beginning because you have no more lives left. It's like, bro, I remember playing like that. It's like, dude, it used to be ruthless.
And at some point, it gets mechanical because you know all the moves in the exact moment that you have to do this specific move to pass through that stage, right?
Yeah.
So it's mechanical because
route memory.
So much, that you know exactly what to do and when to do. But then at some point you don't know, right? Then and this is true, man. Like it wasn't like this where you could play infinite, you had limitless infinite lives. And back then, depending on what you were playing, like you would just go from zero again. Suddenly. You had to be good. You had to be good.
You did, for sure. I remember, it's so weird. It's like crazy how the competitions changed too, right? Back then, like you said, it was all you versus the computer system, right? You're just trying to outplay the algorithm that's trying to kill you or beat you or take away your points. But now a lot of it's focused on like PvP, where you're competing against other people who are trying to do this, that, or the other, and they have their own objectives, right? It's very interesting how it went because of the network and technology. It went from being like, oh, go beat the game, stay 20 hours, or hey, start from the beginning, to now it's all about, player progression and play somebody else, play online. It's got to be online. It's almost gotten worse, though, because nowadays, if you don't have the internet connection, sometimes you can't even play your game because your profile is in the cloud, right? It's not like I can just pick my phone up and carry on my game from my PlayStation.
Yeah, PlayStation released I don't know how it was PlayStation 4, but PlayStation 5, there's a version that there is no disc. If you don't have an internet connection, you're gone. You can download, you can connect your... I don't know if you can play, if you download the game, I don't know if you can play with PlayStation 5 without the disc.
Discs used to be chalked, though. I remember, like, even from my perspective, I think discs have been chalked for years, because I still remember when I was telling you used to wait in line to get your game. I remember you used to, I was there till the end of it, and you'd go get your game and you'd bring it home, and you'd still have to download like a 20 gig download to update your game. It's like, why in the world do I even buy the disc if I just gotta buy it down? I gotta download and I gotta wait another 8 hours back when the internet was slow.
Yeah, man, things changed so much. I was thinking the other day, because back 5-10 years ago, 15 years ago, like all the software we had in our computers, like they were offline, and we would have some ways to hack them, right?
Yeah.
So
the CD keys.
every software we had in our computer, there was a hack version.
Yeah, key generator. So true.
Yeah, and nowadays everything is subscription, right? And to be honest, man, at some point it's so annoying, because you want just to do a very simple thing. You go online. There is a free version, but for the very thing you want to do, you have to have a subscription, right? Because it's a premium, because blah blah blah.
I hate it.
And then when you realize you have 4, 5, 6 subscriptions, and you don't use that
bro,
much,
yeah,
right?
dude, I hate that. I hate subscription economy, bro. Like, get like, literally just hearing you say that. Not that I'm getting pissed at you, Joe, because I can't, but like it's just like the topic's getting me heated, right? Just thinking about, because I don't know if you've heard of this stuff, but I even saw there was a car company that was charging a subscription for their heated seats. Like The technology is like,
Seriously?
yeah, the technology is in the car. Like it's already in your seats, but in order to access it, you got to pay like a monthly fee to access your heated seats.
No.
And dude, like, at what point is it that you just stop owning stuff, right? Because you just like you're literally just renting everything. I get into that situation where I've canceled my Uber subscription, and like other subscriptions because I just didn't see. When I was looking at the transactions I was paying, I was still paying extra on top of if I'm paying for like an Uber subscription, why do I have to pay extra to get like a premium ride, right? Or why do I have to pay extra if I'm paying for a subscription? Why do I have to pay extra to get my food delivered straight to me from the restaurant? Shouldn't it, just naturally come to, if I'm paying for it to be delivered from a restaurant, shouldn't it just come from that and it should be included? So I canceled a lot of those things, dude. And it's crazy how quick that they add up. Like you don't realize that you got a subscription for this, a subscription for that. And all of a sudden you got goddamn 7, 8 subscriptions and it's like hundreds of dollars, by the time it's all added up. You're like, what in the hell? I hate subscriptions.
And I was checking the other day because we do have Netflix with Disney Plus, Amazon, and the list goes on. And man, it's not that much. Like if you get just one of them, like
just look at it. Yeah.
Yep. But on the aggregation, like it's still not that much, but it's something that you can go out for a night, or pay for a night in a hotel, good hotel, something like that. I just
buy that steak in Vegas, those ribs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, those were special. But don't say that out loud. My wife still don't know that.
Yeah, my wife doesn't know either. They'd kill us if they knew those ribs. Best ribs I ever had in my life. Those Korean ribs were the best ones I ever had in my life. Yeah. And your guys' ribs, I think you let me try your ribs, and I think it might have been the second best rib I ever had in my life. It was that good.
Yeah. You had a beef rib, right? And it was some Korean seasoning, and it was so delicious. It was melting on your hands, right?
Yeah, it was so perfect. I can't. Dude, if anything, if I go back to Vegas, like if I eat anywhere, like it'll be there.
That restaurant could have a subscription, right?
I would pay a subscription for those ribs. Even if I'm only there once a year, I'd pay for that one. I'd make sure it didn't lapse. That's very true. That's very true. I know it's weird. Like technology is, even though it's gotten good for games, I feel like in these kinds of scenarios with subscriptions, it's just gotten worse. Like I don't know. It makes me wonder how good it is just for society in general when you take the impact it has on companies, right? Companies are shifting their entire models to get on these reoccurring revenue cycles of a subscription model, right? That's why they want it, is because they want these consistent revenue streams. But I don't know, man. Like I think you'll see a lot of pushback from consumers that are just going to eventually just get subscriptioned out, right? They're going to like, dude, it's too many. It's too many.
Well, but because at the end of the day, the big companies owe a lot. They own a lot of the market, right?
Yeah.
And if they want to shift the entire market, and they can, and then everybody else will just follow along, like every other company. Yeah. And if everybody is doing that, like what options do we have, right?
Yeah.
We can cancel some subscription, but some others we still have to have. Like, it's just
some of them will just be. Some of them, I agree. Some of them are just like a price of doing business in today's world, right? Like most people don't pay for cable, so they have like Netflix, right? And they got like internet on their TVs because it's built into the design, and you just consume media that way. That's why YouTube, right? It's one of the biggest streamed platforms now because, and they're integrating into TV and everything's becoming episodic, right? They're doing episodes. People like to sit on their couch and just not watch like a 5-minute video. And if they're used to scrolling through a Netflix and YouTube, they want those kinds of long form content. So Yeah, it's very interesting. In some ways, it's natural.
Yeah, but one thing that I hope it happens, it's more combination of streams in one tool, right? So you
Yeah,
get Netflix, you get
consolidation.
yeah, consolidation. You get you get 2, 3, 4, 5 streams in one place. You pay one subscription, you have 5 services. But my fear is that, let's say about streaming, it gets like cable, right?
Yeah.
Because back in the day, when I was in Brazil, like cable was not a thing. Like people wouldn't like. I didn't have friends that had cable. That
Yeah.
was for rich people in Brazil, right?
Okay.
And I was always thinking, oh, that might be something good, right?
Yeah.
Having cable, you don't like, you watch what you want, you don't see commercials, blah blah blah. That's what was my thought. But when I got here, man, cable is terrible. I don't want that shit, man.
Yeah, right. All the ads. Yeah, full of it all the time. Like hours. It's like half of your show is commercials.
No, it's unbelievable. So I wonder if all these streams start to compile in one place, it becomes a different cable, a new type of cable.
Probably will. Probably will.
Right? So because they will find ways to sneak in commercials, like Netflix is doing when you go to the app on your mobile. I didn't find there's a lot of ads for apps for whatever games. I just hate that. Amazon Prime, we didn't have commercials, right? But lately they start to introduce commercials in every show. You have an option.
Do they really?
You can pay extra, like $3 a month.
Yeah.
You don't get commercials, right? But you have to pay extra.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't. So that's one thing, right? That's probably where I swap out a lot of my gaming time. Is I don't watch TV. Like I'm never in front of the television. Like my wife, I watch when I do. If I ever am watching television, it's always me watching something with my wife, right? That's like I'll watch something with her.
What do you watch with her? Just out of curiosity.
Oh man, we love the trashy dramas, right? So we'll watch like the 30-Day Fiance. We'll watch like Married at First Sight. There's those ones where you watch those, like the relationship. Love is Blind. Yes, absolutely. So I watch all those shows with her when we watch them. But the thing is too is I go in spurts, right? Because I'm not the kind of guy. I absolutely hate waiting between like episodes and weeks on the live shows. So I'll wait till like a season's done and then we'll like watch like a bunch of episodes. But yeah, and I've like, dude, like you take even like Love is Blind, right? Like they have like one in Japan, they got one in like Europe, they got one in Spain, and like, dude, and she'll watch them all. Like she'll get like the temporary, like that's how you get caught up in those subscriptions too. She'll get a temporary one for some random streaming platform because it has the one in Brazil, right? And so she wants to watch that. So she'll forget and she'll get that subscription for like a short term. But they'll only have like seasons 1 through 3. And then she'll got to go to another platform to watch the rest of them. How about you? What do you watch?
Well, I don't like to watch those kind of things with my wife.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do watch with her, but just because I want to be around her and I want to hang out with her. But that's not my kind of my type, my cup of tea. What we watch together is some documentaries we like to watch.
Oh, we love that too. Yeah, David Attenborough. I don't know if you've seen like those.
It has to be specific types of documentaries, not like true crime. She doesn't like to see violence. Doesn't like.
Dixie loves those. We listen to like the true crime podcast. She loves those.
Oh,
like we listen to those all the time. When we go on road trips, like when we travel and stuff, we'll listen to the podcasts of like the true crime stories. And and they have some really good people that do those stories. So we watch all those.
And I watched so many. That's a good thing about streaming, right? Because back in the day, with cable, with regular TV, you didn't have this kind of stuff, right? I don't know with cable, but with TV that we had available in Brazil, we didn't have. It was very, um, uh, by the book, not by the book. It was very limited what we had available on the
Yeah.
television, right? Back
Yeah.
home. And now, like, my Netflix profile is truly, uh, um, it represents what I like to watch. Indeed,
Yeah. It's refined. The
right?
algorithm's got it down now, right?
Exactly. Their
Yeah.
algorithm is really good. So I watch a lot of true crime.
Yeah. Do you like watch Criminal Minds? You ever seen that show?
I've seen. I didn't watch. I didn't watch, but I have seen the cover.
What about Dexter?
Oh, Dexter, I used to watch. Yeah,
Yeah,
I watched everything. But this is one thing that I've changed over time.
Okay.
I don't like to watch series like this kind of series that are too long.
Yeah. That's good about true crime. Generally, it's like they're only like a couple episodes or one episode.
Yeah. So I think I got traumatized with one series specific. I believe you know this. Lost.
Yeah. I watched that with Dixie. Yeah, we watched it together.
I watched everything, and I was still living in Brazil, so we would have to wait. I don't know how much time to get the episodes.
Yeah,
and it was like 12 or 13 seasons, right?
Yeah, it was
a lot. And at some point, I don't know which season, but at some point we kind of started talking to each other. Oh, they are all gone. They are all died. It's just a dream, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, this is a spoiler, right? If you haven't watched.
Yeah, right. Spoiler if you haven't seen Lost.
But and I didn't want to believe that.
Yeah.
I still thought, no, they're gonna explain what happened. There's an explanation. So I'm going to keep watching. So I kept watching and watching and watching to the last episode. Man, I still remember the day that I watched in disbelief. Just that the door opening and they are, oh, we are gone and blah, blah, and they were just going, right? They were just going, and they were all died. They all died, and I didn't like.
He's like, dude, this all these years for this.
Yeah, for this? It was kind of that love story that not love story, but anyway,
I feel you.
It was pretty traumatizing to me. Not traumatizing. Traumatizing is not the right word, but
hey, no, it kind of was. I mean, actually, it's not a wrong word. I think that's a good word.
But Dexter was a good one, even though it was very long.
Yeah,
I liked the show.
Me too.
But I wouldn't watch today anymore.
I would watch it. I would watch it again. I haven't watched it in a long time, but I'd watch it again. Have you seen the new one?
No.
The New Blood.
No, I don't want to watch.
Yeah, it's one season. I watched it. I'm not going to give any spoilers because you haven't. Maybe one day you'll go back. It wasn't bad. It was very cinematic, right? If you watch the original Dexter, like I watched it all, I watched the whole thing and I enjoyed it. But if you watch that, what the series wasn't like cinematic. It wasn't like a movie-esque. It was just like a TV show, right? It was very TV show-like. But the new show is very cinematic. Like they tried to make it like a movie into episodes. The production value was very good from that perspective, but I'll just leave it at that. So I enjoyed the series, though. I really did. I enjoyed that. And you said true crime, so I wanted to see if you'd ever seen it.
Yeah. Back in Brazil was a good thing, a good meme that we would use again and again and again.
Yeah.
That specific scene when I don't remember the cop that caught Dexter, and then when he come up.
Yeah, Dukes.
Yeah, surprise, motherfucker.
Yeah, surprise, motherfucker. Yeah. That's when he was at the little shack in the woods in the Everglades. Yeah. Yeah, Dotes. Yeah, that was
that was nuts, man. We would like that meme was on our WhatsApp or emails everywhere, every day.
That's cool. I love hearing about cultural stuff like that. That's pretty cool. Like how certain things. Yeah, what certain things become, pop culture in certain areas. But no, I like that was a good show. I'm trying to think of other crime shows that I really enjoyed. Those are the ones that just stood out that I liked.
Yeah.
We listen
Oh,
to true crime and like the
yeah,
actual stories.
I like all the Netflix true crime, almost all. I like them because they they're short.
Hmm.
You know, I some of them I feel it could be shorter.
Yeah,
Like instead of 4 episodes, they could do in two. But I get they have to create content.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, 4 episodes is still watchable. But for me, if it goes beyond four, maybe five, I usually don't
It
watch.
got to be, but they got to be. I can't do that either. It's got to be somebody
Yeah.
that's like famous or like the story just got
For
to be like, how in the hell did I not hear about this? It's got to be one of those
yeah,
if it's going to be
for
that many.
example, one that I really started watching and I was so excited was about Cold War.
Hmm.
So it was something related to the Cold War, and I got to the fourth or fifth episode, but there were 8 episodes, and I just nah, nah.
Couldn't get there. Yeah, it
Yeah,
happens,
because
man. It happens.
8 episodes of 50 minutes, 60 minutes each is like 8 hours.
And fall
Man, it's
asleep on the
just too much
couch.
time. Like it's just
Yeah.
too much time.
It's like wrap it up, make that shorter. Somebody on YouTube has made it that short. They've made it into 4 episodes. That's for
Yeah.
sure. No, I can't. I like that kind of stuff. I'm pretty open. I don't have. I don't watch a lot of TV, so I can't say I'm just open. But I don't have a lot of. When I do watch TV, I'm pretty like I don't care. I think we watched an old classic the other day. I can't remember what. I think it was like Twister, maybe
Oh, yeah, that's a good
like
movie.
the original one.
90s. Yeah.
Yeah, and like we went ahead and watched that because we wanted to watch the new one, which we did. Um, and it was surprisingly outside of some of the cheesy, dialogue that was used back then, which is always the case when you look back at old movies. I thought that it held up pretty decent, like the graphics and all that, even though some of that was kind of funny with the cow. I thought that, all in all, it wasn't bad. The movie wasn't bad. It was like, okay, not bad.
Hmm. Yeah. No, I like to sometimes I like to watch these things that I used to watch when I was a kid or a
Yeah.
teenager. A lot of them still holds a lot of value, and when I watched again, like I just see that I I understand even better why I liked so much.
Yeah, like
One,
Top Gun,
one of
man. Yeah.
Top Gun, yeah, yeah. You mean the real Top Gun, not Charlie Sheen, right? Charlie Sheen. He also did a Top Gun something, right?
Oh yeah, no, I mean like Tom Cruise, like the
Yeah.
original. Yeah,
No,
no,
yeah, that's classic, right? That's
do you expect?
classic.
That's what I was saying. Like from your perspective, the second Top Gun the new one that came out, it was epic. I think, especially for me, one of the greatest movies of all time, is just because of the backstory that came from the original Top Gun, right? Like
Hmm.
if you knew the original Top Gun and knew the story about Goose and all that, like, and you for 20 years later, you get to experience this new story. It was put together so well. I think that's another one example, like what you were just speaking of.
You know, the Maverick, Top Gun Maverick,
Yeah,
I haven't watched because I wanted to watch the first one, rewatch,
yeah,
so then I would remember everything again before I watched the new one. But I
yeah.
actually I didn't watch any of them. But
You got to
I
do that.
will.
You got
I
to do
will.
that.
Don't tell me anything.
I'm
I
not gonna tell
will.
you anything. I'm not gonna tell you anything. Yeah. It was amazing for me personally when I
Well,
experienced it.
since
So
we are talking about movies,
yeah,
I believe you may like Matrix, right?
yeah. I've watched those a couple times. Yeah. Mhm.
So for me, Matrix, the initial series, is one of the best sequels that I've ever watched.
Mm.
But I kind of got disappointed with the latest one
I
that
haven't seen the
was
latest
released
one.
a
Yeah,
couple of
yeah,
years
yeah.
ago. Uh,
Did you watch it? You're disappointed?
yeah, I did watch,
Uh,
and I was disappointed. Like Uh, it's just a
That,
different movie, right?
yeah.
Yeah, it's just a movie that has the name Matrix. But to be honest, I couldn't relate to the originals
Mm,
because the originals were made in a time, and so they use pretty much similar technology. They were made in just a few years apart of each other,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So they kind of have the same theme and
Hmm.
technology that
Yeah.
they
There's a
were using.
cohesion
And
there. Yeah.
yeah, and they were like that scene on the first move that Neo dodges the
Yeah.
bullets. That scene is epic, right? It
Yeah.
made
Absolutely. Yeah.
history, and
Absolutely.
people still to this day they kind of mimic what they did that back
Yeah.
then. And the whole story of the first three moves is so amazing, so
Hmm.
amazing.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
love that. And then when I got to the fourth one, I was expecting something, some continuation to that story, and kind of same theme, but I just
Yeah.
couldn't see.
Mm,
Right? Could be
yeah.
wrong, but it's my opinion, right? So I'm
No,
entitled to
no,
that.
no. I'm interested in that too because I don't. You and I seem to have some general similar tastes and in styles of movies plus expected outcomes. Because I remember I wasn't. I definitely remember feeling unsatisfied with the conclusion of Lost. When I finally got around to finishing it. Um,
Sorry, were you satisfied or weren't you satisfied
Or
with
no,
Lost?
wasn't. I
No.
wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't
Okay.
too satisfied with that. So I could see where I maybe even on the Matrix, I might have similar opinions. So I'll definitely have to give that a shot once you give Maverick Top Gun a go. But
Yeah, yeah.
we're definitely in for some unique experiences.
No.
And damn, I forgot to. You were talking and it reminded me of another movie, but I forgot.
Well, I just finished one very classic yesterday.
Hmm.
It took me like a few days to finish because you start, I
Yeah,
go bed earlier, so
that's
I
like
started,
that's
and
what
then
my
I
wife
watched
does.
20
Yeah,
minutes, and then I rewatched I resumed
that's what my
the
wife
next day.
does. Absolutely, it's
But
funny.
I finished again the Godfather
Okay,
just
okay,
yesterday. Man, that's such a great movie.
never
You know,
seen
Al,
it.
Al Pacino is still very young. I believe this is a movie from 30 years ago,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
maybe
great
more.
movie. I've heard
Man, it's such a great
award
movie.
winning. I've
Yeah.
even seen, when I was, I watch trying to teach myself about how to use a camera, right? And
Mhm.
some of the classes or some of the topics that they teach you, they make reference to that movie and they explain it, right? Like different scenes they'll use as examples and like this is why it's such a textbook scene and um
Mhm.
so I've never seen the movie, but I've seen cuts of the movie from those kinds of where I
Yeah.
guess he goes to the bathroom and gets a gun and comes out and shoots somebody. And
Exactly.
yeah, it's like
Exactly.
they explain like the tension and the cut, the why that they was edited like it was, and the shot selection. So yeah, definitely, I know it's an iconic a video for sure, a movie for
Yeah.
sure,
And
cinema.
this ties with the true crime scene documentaries we were talking, because
Yeah, no, true.
that if you watch Godfather and watch any mob documentary
Yeah,
like Italian mafia, this kind of things, you are going to realize that the Godfather seems a lot to a documentary, right? Of course, it's a movie. There's a whole
yeah,
story, but it looks like so much to a documentary,
yeah.
right?
Okay,
If you
yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
ever watched any mob, any Italian mafia documentary, man, it's
Yeah.
just like that.
It's
It's
definitely on
just
my
like
list. It's not that I'm against watching it or I think it's not good. I've never gotten around to it. There's some stuff like I too like I won't. I mean that I won't. That I people just are like so high on that I just haven't like
mm.
the Meth Lab series that everybody talks about. Breaking Bad. Breaking
Oh,
Bad.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I haven't. I saw like one episode.
Well, well, here's the thing, because I watch YouTube shorts.
Yeah.
So if I get to the YouTube shorts and I watch shorts about Breaking Bad, I like them. But I remember when Breaking Bad started, everybody would watch, and let me try it. And
Yeah.
I actually tried 5 or 6 episodes. I believe I watched almost the entire first season, and I couldn't understand why people were liking that so much. I didn't like.
Yeah, it wasn't
And I
your
thought,
thing.
oh man, that's not for me. So it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, so people
Right?
have different tastes, right? So I think that, yeah, interesting
Yeah.
enough.
But I like when I watch the shorts, I like them. I feel it's
Excuse me.
for that period of time, they're good. But when you get the whole season, the whole series of seasons, no, not for me.
Well, hey, you think about the summarization of what the heck it is that we were the valid points that we were talking about, because I have to run and take care of a very important business decision real quick, and I'll be right back. So think about how we want to wrap this up, or what do we want to talk about. I know we got some stuff for next week, right? So
Yes,
I'll be
yes.
right. Yeah, you
Are you going
back
to
in a
play
minute.
some music while you're gone?
Yes, it's running already.
We'll be waiting.
Feel free to sing.
It's probably out of sync if I sing.
All right. Did you tell them something funny? Did you tell them a good joke, or did you run an ad? Did you promote anything?
No, I just kept quiet. I'm not that. I was thinking the other day, like, I should do something by myself, right?
Yeah.
Just get my own ideas on my own time, but man, I thought again, I don't like to be in front of camera just by myself, talking to the camera and expressing myself the way I want it. No, that's not. We have to find the right approach for us, right?
Yeah, I have an idea too, right? I want to do like I feel like it's pretty easy to pull off the Netflix style like interview. We just got to have our own style and theme. But I think that we should do like a book type video, like chapter, like do some sort of like, I don't know, like how we want to do it, but I feel like we could do a book, but record the sessions, and then that be some like additional like content, right? So I'm trying to think of what the top, like what we would do. But here's the thing. What I wanted to do is I wanted to partner with your creative friend who did
David.
I want to partner with David, and I want us to come up with a theme where we just, it's like, it could be a memoirs to ourselves or letters to our children or something, right? And we'll just have an interesting concept where we'll have answer these questions, and you and I will quiz each other on these topics, but have him like some sort of narration around it, a narrator to like go. I don't know. I'm just brainstorming here.
Well, one thing that I thought while I was, not planning, but I was brainstorming with myself of what I could do, was actually do a documentary, because I like so much documentaries.
Yeah.
Right. And that could be a something we could elaborate on together, because there's some exploration. We have to brainstorm on the idea. We have to talk to people.
Yep.
And I just feel that we like so much to talk to people.
Yeah.
We haven't we haven't had so many guests on the show lately, probably because we are so busy and we can't keep up with the conversations offline. But man, doing a documentary would be something very fun.
Dude,
and we could do on any topic that we want.
That's exactly what I want to do, right? It's funny it came from your like that you socialized that idea, right? Is because I've been, the whole thing about like the camera and what I've been trying to get good at is to be able to film and tell stories, right? And then the way that I wanted to do that, or the format that I wanted to do it, is in like documentaries, because that's what I enjoy watching too, with the true crime and how, they do in the interview, right? It's just like post up the interview, you ask the questions and stuff, right? And so I think that, I would love to do that. I think that there's so many stories out there, right? And there's really cool perspectives. So I think that's a great idea. Maybe that's what we need to get sponsorship for, so we can go and do some of those. Go somewhere and do those.
Yeah, the only thing that we have to figure it out is how we're gonna do this online, right? Because we can't just go in person and have these conversations with everybody in person. That on our budget, that would just not be viable.
Yeah. And while we're brainstorming, right, I think that we're not very far away from, like how we're doing this right now in this format. Obviously, we can do this and stream and share these ideas in this podcast form, but we can also be just recording without going live too, right? So we could use our equipment to record higher quality like we were doing at Forward, and then use those higher quality to put something together in the format of, like we're saying, like the documentary. And we can, and like imagine too, if we have guests and they're doing more of a documentary format, and this is something I wanted to do. I wanted to do a documentary where I had a specific couple of questions, and you and I thought about it when we were in the summit last year. We had a couple of people, a couple of questions, but I wanted to do that and do it more of a documentary, where we kind of like, get into that a little bit more deep. But that was like a dry run to see what we could do. But I think that it was fairly successful at just being a rehearsal of sorts. But yeah, I think that we can coach people like that, do remote and say, hey, yeah, you look good, but let's angle you. Let's turn the light on back here. Let's turn those off, and like
exactly.
And then we can get those questions answered. Yeah.
Yeah, but one limitation is that most folks only have webcams, right?
Yeah.
That is something we may have to think about it. How we do. Maybe we limit the number of folks, and we ship some better quality webcams. Like 5, 6 webcams. We just ship to them. Let's see.
Yeah, I think I was just thinking about that too, right? There's ideas where we could do something like that, or we can have one package that we kind of ship around, like a kit. Like I see that they do that for like LinkedIn Learning, right? They'll ship you like a Pelican case, and then it'll have the gear in it, and then there's instructions on how to set it up, and then we could do an interview. And we could, as long as we have the gear, the quality is a certain level, like we can do rehearsals and say, hey, it's a good recording, and then So I mean, I think there's options. I think that's
awesome, man. I was just throwing ideas out there, and I just feel we already have our next project together.
I like it. Yeah, somebody said in the chat too. They called nerds. Said limit folks. Yeah, no, I think that there's some. Should I leave? Limit folks. But no, I think that there's just got to be. I think there's opportunities there, right? There's opportunities with us to do some of that kinds of things. We just gotta figure out the cohesive theme, right? And we can work with your friend to get the idea, right? Maybe he can help us brainstorm and come up with like a cohesive concept to do it. And then we'll execute those interviews as sort of like behind the scenes valuable footage in a vlog or book episodic documentary style, right? And then we can put that together as a sort of value to the people that watch and listen to our stuff. Please stay, don't leave.
Yeah, stay and write your ideas. If you have any ideas that you want to bring up, something that we can do, just type on the chat. We love to hear from folks. We actually really appreciate when people reach out and just say, "Oh, I listened to your podcast today, or I watched your video." Actually, it was something very funny happened today.
Someone went to junior college. I love it. It's too hilarious.
So at my workplace, someone sent me a screenshot. Oh, my developer was searching on YouTube and found one of your videos.
Yeah, dude. Speaking of that, dude, it's so funny you said that. So I do this, right? We have this channel that I have for like my work type stuff, right? And I also have like a gaming channel. Like I started it way back in the day when I was a soldier.
Share that with me.
Yeah, no. But it's funny. It's funny because I recently joined like this military like VFW like Discord, and they're like a bunch of old military guys who aren't that good at gaming, like myself, but we all play a little bit. And anyway, they were like, some of them were streaming and stuff. So I said, let me just try to go to my old platform and connect it. And so I was doing a test run the other day to make sure that it was connected and working, like what we do here. And like somebody popped in my chat and they started talking. I'm like, oh, hey, what's going on? And I didn't even realize it was one of my coworkers. One of my coworkers had somehow found my gaming channel, even though I'd like never shared it. I guess they might have just been on the platform and it got recommended. And because I guess when you see my mug on their YouTube thumbnail or something from a clip, they're like, what the heck? And they clicked on it. So yeah, it was funny. It was like that. They're like, dude, somebody saw me blowing people's heads off on Call of Duty and started hopping in the chat.
Yeah.
Dog art channel. Nice. I love dog art. I love that there's a style of art they do where, and I don't know why the dog art popped in my head with this, but the style of art where they do the multiple colors. They have like one that's really famous, like a cow, and it's like pink, blue. It's like all these colors. I remember a couple of dogs, and all of a sudden I picture in my head the dogs that are playing poker. They're sitting at the card table and they're all playing poker, and one's got a big cigar in its mouth. But Joe, I think we're gonna wrap up, right? It's been an hour. We got the podcast in. Yeah. We got a guest next week, right? On Tuesday.
Next week we have 2 sessions, most likely, right? Because on Tuesday we are bringing someone very special. Yes. I don't know if it does matter if we disclose now or not, but anyway, something that it's my close. Anyway, just leave it as that. We're bringing some guests next week.
I'm excited.
And I'm very excited to that. So looking forward to that. It's going to happen on Tuesday night. And then most likely we're going to have our Thursday night show as usual.
Yep. Sounds good, brother. Well, I'm excited. I don't have any announcements or any promos. What time next week? Joe, is it going to be the same time? Or I know your friend had a different restriction. Usually on Thursday nights, it's every Thursday night at 7.
Yeah, I think Tuesday is going to be at 7 too.
7 as well? Yeah, so it'll be at 7. And if you show up, Rome, and you show up in the next podcast that we have, and you throw your Cash App in, you have now till a couple of days to sign it up. I'll send you some beer money. That's what we do to people who support. We send them beer money because it's bots and beers. So, if you show up again, and I won't forget, you definitely remind me, and I'll send you some beer money. Or drink. You can use it for Lunchables if you don't drink. I'm fine with that too. Or chips. But Joe, I'm going to get us out of here. The wife, she's been back after a week in Phoenix. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure that I go say hi, hello. I'm going to be gaming tonight later too. Probably play some more Call of Duty. Thank you so much. PST Central 7 PST. No, EST.
EST. Eastern Time.
Yeah, 6 Eastern Central.
Yes. Brother, it was a pleasure as usual. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for hanging out with me. Oh, my bad English here.
I love it, bro.
Yeah, thanks for your, for the move advice and the chat as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. And check out Maverick if you get a chance. If not, I'll just remind you next episode. 23 in the books.
Yes.
We got a couple more before season one ends.
There's still the last episode.
Yeah, the last episode they were going to get Jay on. So, all right. Thank you, good sir. I'm out of here. I'm going to get us out of here. Until next week, brother. Thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you so much. And we'll see you guys soon.